like yours will surely come my way. Hey, every day seems a little longer. Every way, love's a little stronger. Come what may, do you ever long for true love from me? There you go, baby, here am I. Will you left me here so I could sit and cry? Well, golly gee, what have you done to me? Well, I guess it doesn't matter anymore. Love you like I do.
One of the largest collections of muscle cars, and I mean this guy has a collection not to be believed. I've been invited out to Pennsylvania, out to his, I'm going to call it his museum, but we'll get out there soon. But right now we got him out here at York, and it's Don FEZELL. He's a local Pennsylvanian, and he has a number of cars out here. And we're going to talk to Don about his collection and about the cars he has out here. So we're going to welcome you to Cars and Us.
Thank you.
Right?
Thank you. Appreciate the invitation.
And you know what? We see each other every year, but we don't get a chance to do a little interview.
Right.
So I said, one of these times we just have to make time
Take
for
time
it,
to do it.
And that's what we're going to do. I think you just came in today because I didn't see you. We were here yesterday.
I got here late yesterday.
All your cars come in. You got your staff bringing in all your cars, and you just show up and look good.
Yeah, we got here late yesterday. We got derailed around Lewistown. There was an accident on the road. We got delayed for a couple hours, but we got here about 6 o'clock last night.
Okay.
So
just in time for dinner, right?
Just in time for dinner, right? Just in time for dinner.
Let's see. How many cars you got here?
We brought 4
today?
cars.
4 cars?
4 cars,
right.
yes.
You got the old Z11, and you got Bud Fulber's old honker.
Right.
And let's see. The new Mustang.
The new Mustang.
That new Mustang.
It's one of the 50 Cobra Jet cars that Ford built for for drag racing.
What got you into buying that?
I just want to continue racing. I'm only 71, so I want to keep racing. The platform is fantastic. It's a great platform. And Ford is really behind the cars. Out of the first 50, there's probably 5 of those cars that are being competitive today in the country, and we're one of them.
That's terrific.
So they're helping us a little bit. And
where are you racing? What tracks?
We're going to be racing at Beaver Springs on Sunday. Pittsburgh International Dragway is close to us in Pittsburgh.
Mm-hmm.
And then Quaker City's in Ohio. And then we're going to hit a couple of points meets at the end of the year.
Good.
So we're really ready for next year.
You've got your schedule planned out.
Yeah.
That's good. Mm-hmm. That's excellent.
Yep.
Tell me approximately how many cars have you got in your collection?
75 cars that are restored and or original. And another 10 that are waiting to be done.
Now, last year you had the Nova. That was you and your brother, I guess, had that?
Yes, we did. Yeah. I bought it new in 66 and raced it until 70 and sold it. And then we found it 3 years ago and bought it back.
Don, did you plan on a collection or did it just happen?
No, it just happened. When I moved to Du Bois in 73, I took my 69 Dodge with me, my race car. And then I restored a 57 Chevy. And that's what really started my restoration.
So, but basically, you're an old-time drag racer.
Yeah, that's the backbone of my collection is
Right.
all drag cars.
Right. Right.
We have 18 of the factory race cars in my collection now. Yeah. Plus many, many of those.
Now, I know you have given me the invitation to come out to your house, which is, you know, most generous. And you do bring a lot of your cars out to the public, but does the public have an opportunity to go and see your collection?
Yes, they do. I mean, you can call me anytime and come to my garage. We're there Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday evenings. On weekends, a lot of the car clubs come through the garage.
They do?
Yes. A lot of groups come through the garage, and we try to get that on a schedule so we're all there and available.
How about the maintenance of all these cars? You obviously can't maintain them. You have a crew that maintains them?
Yes, I have two guys that help me.
Right.
And they help me 4 or 5 days a week, and we maintain batteries and pump brakes and do all the things that maintain the cars that are done.
Basically, you got to maintain them every day.
There's something to do every day.
Every day.
Every single day. Absolutely.
So they get paid by the enjoyment of being able to get in them and drive them.
That's one of the things that attracted to the. Yeah, that's very true. Plus, I buy them lunch once in a while.
Oh, that's nice of you. That's nice of you. Now, your wife, I think I saw her.
Yeah, she's here.
She's, not here now. But how does she fit into the program?
Well, she likes the cars too. I mean,
she's always been a car bug.
Yeah, she's always been a car bug, and she has her thing. She has her horses.
Oh,
she shows horses, quarter horses.
I see. Okay.
And I enjoy the horses too. Okay. So we kind of co-enjoy what each of us like.
Each other's hobbies.
Yeah, each other's hobbies, and that's what we do.
The cars you bring here are just phenomenal. I mean, especially for myself and for the viewers that watch the program, because there are a lot of old-time drag racers. You know?
Sure they are.
And they love to see these old-time cars.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's why, at one point, maybe perhaps during the wintertime, I'd love to come out here, and actually come out to your home, and and actually tape all of them.
You're more than welcome to.
This is some collection you have, and as I said, you have the most extensive muscle car collection that's known.
Well, maybe not in numbers, but the quality of our cars is second to none.
Right.
We go to the greatest extent to find every piece that we possibly can.
Everything original. You know why?
Every original.
I just had a conversation. I got to get him on camera after, but with Randy DeLiso.
Oh, okay.
Now I know he contributed to this Z11 car.
Yes.
And we talked about that, and actually, the car that he has now, that Thunderbolt, was my longtime friend's car.
Really?
He bought it from my friend. Yeah.
How about that? That's.
Yeah. Tommy Caldera is very well known in the whole country. He's a painter and body man and everything.
Sure,
very well known.
sure.
He's out on the coast now. But him and I go back to 1961, 1962.
How about that, huh?
So, it's, we had a conversation,
That's pretty neat.
about that.
Yeah.
And then he said, I restored these Z11s when he found out that I had one. He said, I restored Don's Z11 and this and that. So that's how I know a little bit more about your collection, and about the quality of the restoration. Yes,
yeah.
Definitely.
He's been involved in all my Z11s.
Yeah.
Well, I have 4 of them. So
do you?
Yeah, I have 4
I didn't
Z11s.
realize that.
I have 4 Z11s.
Oh, okay. Whose cars? Any named?
Old Reliable. I have the Alan Green Chevrolet.
Okay.
That was from California. And I have Richard Schroeder drove one for 1 year, the green car. That was from Enoch Chevrolet.
Where was
Southgate, California.
Okay.
So I have that car. And I have the black car that came out of South Carolina. Just a no-name car.
Right.
But it's one of the 2 black cars they made.
Right.
And we have that car restored.
Okay.
So he's had a big hand in my Z11s.
Yeah, so he was telling me, and I'm sure we're going to get into that conversation after, but, it's interesting because, you know what, you never realize how small the circuit is.
It's very small.
Yeah.
Very small.
Yeah.
And of course, he's instrumental in all my Mustangs, too. I mean, I got 4 of the original Cobra Jet Mustangs.
Yeah, he mentioned that as well.
Yeah,
and as we get older, it gets smaller as well.
It gets smaller. It really does. It really does. It really does.
Don, it's been a pleasure.
It's been a pleasure, too, Dennis.
Okay.
Yeah, thanks.
And,
Appreciate
we'll
your
see
friendship.
you the rest of the weekend, and, and then we'll get out there one time during the wintertime.
All right. Come and see me.
Thanks again.
Here's one of my cards, by the way.
Oh, yeah, we're going to have that.
So you gotta come and see me.
With me is a friend of mine who is kind of the man behind the scenes. There isn't anybody in drag racing or NASCAR racing or any type of automobile racing that doesn't know Jack Red, better known as JA Approved. Jack is kind of an unsung hero because you really don't see him that often unless you're able to get an opportunity to talk to him for a bit when he's not surrounded by numerous people and celebrities and everybody else. So we're early on in the day. So I said to Jack, you know what? We're going to catch you when there's nobody around, and we got a chance to talk about you and your history in automobile racing and up to date. So I have to welcome Jack Red to Cars and Us.
Thank you, Dennis. Thank you very much.
Pleasure, Jack.
Okay.
And like I said, you heard the my intro, my little segue. I want this interview to be about you.
Oh.
All right.
Okay.
Let's talk about when you first got involved with cars. How many years back?
In 1953, I went to Manassas Old Dominion Speedway. It was the first drag strip on the East Coast, built by Al Gore and a policeman by the name of Bill Jeanette. Now it's run by his two sons, and it was dirt then. And a friend of mine, Jim Davis, who later went on to help Monk Reynolds start Superstock magazine and Drag Illustrated, was racing Ray Giovanone's 999 car, the old Ford Coupe. The tires were knobby tires, snow tires at that time, for the dirt, which was later on paved. Then I hung around for a while. Then 1957, Aquasco opened up. At the same time, I was drafted into the service. And I'm saying too many times.
That's all right.
But that opened the Monday after I went into service, and I went into service 3 years. And in the meantime, I was working at Aquasco as a starter, later the announcer. And then I went on to work at Capitol Raceway. And back then, it went bankrupt, and the guy that I knew was drag racing down at Aquasco, Mike Manico, bought the track. Later on, he got shafted at the NHRA Nationals and also at Cecil County NHRA race. So he got together with a guy named Todd McCrovich, who everybody knows now as Todd Mack, that ran Maryland International Raceway, started drag times. In the meantime, before then, I was working at Capitol Raceway and racing for the points in AHRA in 1963. I was third in the points for NHRA.
What kind of car and what class?
E-stock automatic, Ford, 205 horsepower. That year they had the 202, the 245. It was 2 4-barrels, and the balloon that year. Then I started writing for drag news because the guys on the East Coast weren't getting the publicity that they
and the
deserved.
exposure.
Right, and the exposure, thanks to Doris Herbert. But in the meantime, Mike and Todd started drag times, and before then, Monk Reynolds had started Eastern Drag News, and he needed enough money to start Superstock, so Mike bought Eastern Drag News with Drag Times and combined it, and Monk went on to be the publisher of Superstock magazine. Then NASCAR got involved with drag racing. Ed Witzberger from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, who also had a dirt track up Heidelberg, started the drag racing division. And I helped Todd run the Top Fuel circuit. And after that, later on, I ran the Dragsters Unlimited circuit on the East Coast. It was open to all fueler guys. And later on, the Pro Fuel Dragsters Associates, which was a 8-car team, no burnout, self-starters, reverses, full bodies, uniforms, and no single runs. And one night at Capitol Raceway, I had 4 fuelers fired up for the final race. But getting back, Todd left Drag Times and went to work for NASCAR, run the Top Fuel division, and I became editor of Drag Times. And after that, it just went on. In 1967, I got the idea. I was down Daytona Beach at that time. Everything was NASCAR approved or AAA approved. And Tom Rayleigh and I went by his towing business and got him to ride up to Fred Faulkner's Wilmington Atlantic Speed Center in Wilmington, Delaware. So we got a talking and everything. So in the meantime, we drug out a M&H Slick, and at that time they was making these fiberglass bodies for AA fuelers. Drug that out, got a steering wheel in Tom Railey's hand, and a couple more pieces out there, and I pointed at it and put a JA on my finger and said it was Jack approved. So I got back to the office and made a design for Jack approved decals. Like I said, everything back then was NASCAR approved or AAA approved, and that's how I started, and I've had a lot of fun with it. It was meant to be fun and still is fun.
And I mean, everybody actually they're requesting these decals.
That is very true. It's been on every major funny car, drags. In fact, right now, Don Gallis has them on his show cars and everything. In fact, the first year they came out, I put him on his car at Indy, and he won the race where he had to shave for running into 5s or 6s or something. And I think it's a couple of videos out now with that, and him shaving with Joe Maroney had my Drag Times T-shirts on and everything. So it was quite a thrill. They've been on Jungle Jim, Paula Murphy, Miss STP, Sam Oxer Jr., who's sitting next to us. His dad had him on all of his Pro Stock circuit cars, which I was the MC at the Banquet Awards, and also I was the announcer for the Eastern Drag News Top Dog Meets that we had at Maple Grove, the first one, Island, Vargo, Capitol, Quasco, you name it, and we had it.
And Atco.
And Atco,
I was top dog in 1964.
Is that right? I'll be darned.
And that was at Atco. The last meet was at Atco.
Yeah,
And then they had a banquet that night.
Right.
Yeah, that was 1964.
Well,
it was a fun year. It was a fun year, yeah.
And so that's about it. Right now, I've started the Jack Approved Foundation for Down syndrome kids, and it's just starting. We're going to have a big banner for everybody to sign here at York, and it will be auctioned off at a big party at Old Dominion's reunion August 23rd. So that's quite a thrill. It's for Down syndrome and special need children.
Jack, if anybody wants to contribute or donate or anything to your foundation, let's tell the viewing audience.
Right now, it's at my home address, Jack Red, 5211 Glen Hills Roadway, Glen with 2 N's and Hills plural, Camp Springs, Maryland, 20748. And all the donations go to the Cedar Knolls School in Snow Hill, Maryland, where my grandson is there. And it started small, and I got a few people behind me, and it's starting to blossom, and it's for the children with special needs special.
Well, we got a lot of viewers out there, so we're going to make sure that everybody, even if they put $1 in an envelope, whatever it takes.
In fact, on draglist.com, you hit draglist.com, hit message board, and then what's up, and I have the racers' big hearts for little hearts, and everybody's name is on there. Don't mention any amount of money because that's not important. It's just give what you can, and that's about it.
Right. It's a not-for-profit, and it goes to a good cause, and all the money goes to that foundation.
Right.
There's no administrative fees or anything like that, which is great.
Not yet, but other than my phone bills and that, it's no expenses because I go to places like this. I thank Darwin and Gary Gore and the people that did Witty this year, John Rousey and Doug Rice and the Good Times Drag Club and so forth. So it's meant for these kids. You have to see it to believe it. They also have a special thing there for lift children out of wheelchairs and put them in the swimming pools to get exercise and everything. The teachers there are wonderful. They got a lot of patience. What happened, why this started was like anything else. The politicians give themselves raises. The school board over there give each one themselves a raise, didn't give the teachers a raise, and cut out the summer program for the handicapped children. So my daughter called me and said, what can you do anything? So I got together with Julio Meyer and his wife Rosa, and we was meant to be here, but she's having some health problems. She's okay, but she has to stay home for a couple of days. But we'll be at Old Dominion Speedway October 23rd, and I'm trying to work a deal in at Island Dragway October 18th, where I'll be celebrating my 75th birthday.
We're going to promote, as much as we can. You'll see a lot of graphics on the screen, come up on the screen. So, like I said, anybody that wants to get involved, the information is there. If not, you contact me or you contact Jack. His number is listed and you'll be seen on the screen. One thing I did want to ask you before I lose my train of thought, there's so many questions running around. But in your many years, and I know this is a tough question to answer, for you to answer, but in your many years of being involved, is there any one memorable experience that stands out?
What do you mean by that? It's been so many.
Well, that's why I said it's a hard question.
Either drag racing or meeting people. It's just meeting the people, the drag racing people, the best in the world. It's not like the old days anymore, but to come to shows like this to see the members that are passing the finish line of life,
yes.
And it's very sad. But I've been very lucky, and that's about it. By the way, I also not only raced E-Stock Automatic, I've raced B-Drags, C-Alters, and trucks at the truck shows and so forth. So I've not only been a drag racer, a rider. It's nothing in racing that I haven't done.
Right.
Even been the pit crew for Tom Rayleigh, who's the former driver of Jim and Allison Lee's Great Expectations car when he was racing Grand Nationals at Daytona. And only a few years ago, the late model sportsman in North Carolina, Orange County, Kenley, South Boston, Old Dominion, and so forth. So it's been quite a life for me.
I know you're active because you're telling me about all these reunions and shows they're doing down in Maryland and Virginia and all down in your neck of the woods. You've got a lot of activity going on.
Yes, it's quite a bit. And it seems to be adding more and more because I understand now that Niagara has a reunion, a couple of tracks in Michigan, of course, Thompson, and my train of thought's going now.
Well, the Willie's Home Run is up in Lancaster.
Oh, yes, right. And they're coming right along. So.
Well, it's becoming bigger and obviously better because of the fact, like you mentioned, a lot of guys are passing on, and so everybody wants to get together now. Everybody's heading down the back stretch now,
Right, and I like to see these guys get their children more involved, or people get their children involved. Now they got these video games and computers, and they're wasting their time on that. I've seen it happen, and it shows like this that you can meet the drivers that used to drive the cars and now unable in some respect. But shows like this are really great.
Well, you know what? I'm glad we got the opportunity to share a few minutes anyway. I'm sure we're going to see one another throughout the weekend because this is a great event. Look forward to it every year, and hopefully it'll continue. And, we'll see. But anyway, maybe we'll see you at Beaver Springs on Sunday.
I hope so.
And we'll get a chance to talk together and maybe take a ride in one of these cars.
I hope so. Like I said, it's I got so much on my mind. It's hard for me to describe everything that I've done and everything, but I've been blessed with being in this sport, and I've been an announcer, starter, racer, writer, photographer, and so forth.
You've led a full life, that's for sure. You know what just came to my mind? One name you missed, Linda Vaughn is Jack approved.
Yeah, absolutely. She's a doll, baby. I met Linda years ago. I was flying out to Texas. Her and her mother and aunt got on the airplane. I had a great conversation. I took a Jeep to Hertz for a drag race of Miami Hollywood back in 1967 also. And Linda and I went to Fireball Roberts' grave and had some moments there. But she's been in racing, and I've been involved in NASCAR also. When it comes to any type of motor racing, I'm involved. And by the way, last week in July, I'll be in High Point, North Carolina for my old buddy Ray Gramlich, who's racing a blown Chrysler Hydro named King Mosabi, named after Tex Randall, who was my cousin, and he was fatally injured in a fuel accident back in '65. So.
You're a wealth of information. We could probably do more than 30 minutes, about you, but we'll keep in touch, and certainly we'll do some more interviews and bring the viewers up to date on your foundation. And again, it's been a pleasure for you and I to get a few minutes.
Okay, thank you.
And and we'll see each other.
I'm sorry for all the eyes,
no,
but
no, that's okay.
Thank you.